Okay. Oh, no, if no one wants to ask the first question. So, you know, over the years, you know, obviously my body was growing and expanding, so I had to increase my food. You know, I mentioned that 6 meal a day diet. And I think for me, you know, as I got bigger, you know, I started training about 200 pounds when I joined the gym at 18. And right away I went up to about 240, which is pretty common. People gain 40, 50 pounds the first year of training. I run into so many people, I've heard 100 pounds sometimes. But for me, it was like I learned how to eat and everything so quickly and started eating those 6 meals that my body just really, I gained a lot. But as I progressed and got bigger, I constantly needed to eat more food. So I can tell you guys, I mean, there was a time where I was eating like 30 egg whites for breakfast. I ate up to 5 pounds of meat a day. I was eating 1,000 carbohydrates a day, which is my average carbs on a day, which is substantial. I mean, I eat 200 for breakfast, 200 after I trained, and you know, all the fill-in meals. I was up to 7 meals a day. To maintain an off-season weight, I was about 300 pounds. I competed between 260 and 270. Was at my biggest, and you know, that was the hardest part about what I did. And when I retired, I couldn't wait to stop eating, to be honest. that was tough. And where people talk about when they diet for a competition, I'm sure some of you guys see people in the gym, or they talk about how they starve, right, to get into shape. I was actually eating more as I got into shape because my metabolism increased so much. I was training so much. I burned a lot of calories. So for me, it was difficult for me to eat that much food. And you know, I was not really fond of eating the kind of foods that I ate. I mean, listen, we all eat chicken breast, we eat steak, but I dieted a lot on white fish, and I hated the fish. I absolutely hated it. But I'd have to eat it because it worked best for me to get my thin skin and really get down and get ripped. And for a while, I mean, I would eat, you know, different types of white fish. You know, I have to cook it outside because it smelled so bad. It would smell up everything. I mean, you cook fish in your house and your clothes start to smell and your sheets and everything. So I'd have to cook it outside, and like I used the George Foreman grill outside. I would cook the fish outside and bring it in the house, and I'd eat it. But that was, you know, that was when I would diet for the shows. So once the shows were over, I would never eat fish. And actually, Zach asked me earlier, he's like, "Do you still eat fish?" I said, "No, I don't eat fish." I hate fish. That was the one thing I said when I retired. Now I don't have to eat fish anymore. But I wasn't a huge red meat eater, and you hear a lot of stories about guys that like red meat. I would eat mostly chicken breast and turkey breast. I did some protein shakes. I think protein, you know, is definitely beneficial in someone's diet. You know, we talk a lot about supplements, but I think, you know, whey protein, you know, can definitely be used around the training first thing in the morning when your body needs quick protein. But I tend to like to eat most of my meals. Today, now, still I eat about 5 portion meals a day. So I have a meal service company in the United States that I actually ship food all around, but I usually eat those meals. You guys probably see it on my social media. It's a little easier for me because I do travel extensively. I'm only home usually 2 or 3 days a week in Vegas. So I like to eat those meals and have a weighed out portion. I have a special Jay Cutler bowl that has the chicken and rice. It's pretty much all the bodybuilders eat anyways, mostly chicken and rice. But my favorite meal of the day is still breakfast. I still have my eggs and oatmeal. I think that's most beneficial. Anyone that skips breakfast in the morning, you're doing yourself a disfavor. But you got to have a good breakfast in the morning. That's going to be your first really get your metabolism up and going. Wrong or right times to train. There's no wrong or right times. I think whatever fits your schedule. I always found that my best gains came after eating at least 3 or 4 meals in a day, because you're going to have a lot of backing in your muscles for your workouts. Okay, so if I was trying to get bigger, I would restrict myself from training too early. But if I was honest with you guys, I like to train early in the morning, so I'd eat a breakfast and I would go to the gym, get it out of the way. I feel better. And honestly, that's why I really started training, was because I was at a crossroad at 18, and I had a family business. My family business did concrete, and we did the farming. And my family wanted me to go work in that. I didn't want to do it. I wanted to be a cop, and I thought, okay, I'm going to start lifting weights, but it was a great stress reliever for me. So any of you people that work out on a daily, I mean, you know how you feel after you get a good workout in 30, 40 hour and a half, whatever, you probably feel good when you leave the gym, right? That's really what I was addicted to, and that's why I stayed with weight training. Fortunately for me, I was able to get bigger and was able to be competitive, and everything worked out that I was able to become a champion bodybuilder and be able to make a living at it, which not everyone can do. But I was very fortunate to be able to do that. I still can tell you that the best part of my day, being retired and doing what I do, is still my workouts. I still look forward to probably most of the day going to the gym and training. And you ask why? Because I feel just like I need to relieve stress sometimes. I still, no matter what you guys see on social media or read about, life of Jay Cutler, I mean, I have a lot of stresses that everyone has with family issues, and my parents are getting older now, and I'm away from my family and business, and going from here to there, and my sleep patterns are kind of messed up, but I love going to the gym and I love training. And I don't train for any rhyme or reason as far as, like, I'm not trying to build a certain body. If you ask me what I'm trying to do with my physique now, I'm just trying to stay fit, not trying to get bigger in these workouts. So when I go in the gym, I just go through the same kind of thing. Volume trainings, repetitions are like 12 repetitions. I just do a lot of angles, and I get a good pump, and I feel that's sufficient for what I'm trying to do. I don't go for any weight records. I mean, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, I've bench pressed 550 pounds before for a couple reps, and I've squatted 600. But I've never really maxed out. I'm never a guy to say, because that's what most people, if they stop me in the airport or someplace, say, how much you bench press? It's like, how big are your arms? Same shit, I just lie and tell them it's like 25 inches. If I say bench press 700. Usually they can't say much after that, because otherwise it's like they know a 16-year-old kid that bench press 500, that's the mom's like, oh, nice. I remember when I was like 270 and I was, Mr. Olympia, and I'd run into these parents who stop me and say, oh, our son works out, he's about your size. I said, oh, shit. How much juice is your kid? But it's, you listen, man, it's been a great ride for me, and I can sit and tell stories. I mean, I've got to travel the world and been paid to do it. I mean, I've competed all over the world, and I've seen the best and the worst places. And people always ask me, what's the best place? And I say it's in Las Vegas because I live there. I had the choice. That's what it was for me is, you remember I was contracted, so I had a lot of endorsements that allow me to be able to live wherever I wanted. I'm from Massachusetts. I got away from there because I felt that I was a little sheltered. And I'm sure a lot of you people that train in your areas and you say, okay, I'm limited because I'm trying to do this for a career or that. Sometimes you got to go outside your box, and that's difficult. And I was scared when I did it, even when I was very successful. I was making money. But like moving away from my family was really, really difficult. But I knew if I wanted to further my career, I had to make that step. And I didn't go and train in Venice Beach where all the bodybuilders migrate to. I actually went like a little more south to Orange County, California, and it was a little more quiet. But I know when I woke up in the morning and the sun was out every day, it really changed my mindset because the weather was not so good. Obviously, we go through the season changes in Massachusetts, and I remember being in the winter time and have to truck to the gym and snow and have to change my shoes because my shoes were wet and whatever. And I said, man, these guys in California got it made, So when I went out there and I had the work ethic that I developed in Massachusetts, like I was able to just run circles. And I always said that the California guys train like pussies. That's why I used to tell Sean Ray and all these guys. Because they would, I used to see these guys in the books. They're driving nice cars and they're out there in their tank tops every day. And, we're struggling in the weather out here in the winter time. So I used to watch these guys train. I'm like, man, no one squats and no one deadlifts. And, it was kind of weird because like the machines started coming around. I mean, back when I started, it was like, okay, you gotta do what Arnold did in pumping iron and it was this free weights, right? Now we have so many advanced machines, but to be honest, I mean, that's what's saving a lot of bodybuilders. A lot of bodybuilders retired very early. I mean, Lee Haney, 8-time Mr. Olympia, retired at 30. Nowadays, I mean, I went until I was 40. I mean, Ronnie went into his mid-40s. You got Dexter Jackson, who's almost 50. And he's 49 this year, and he's still going. And I would say a lot of the advancement now is because of the way the training has changed. And a lot of these machines actually take the place of the free weights. You know, you don't have to get under a squat bar in order to be the number, you know, have the biggest legs out there now. I've seen guys that can squat 500-600 pounds and have the smallest legs in the gym. It's not necessarily how much weight you can do, but how you feel that weight, right? So that's why I mentioned like the repetition range of 8 to 12. You want to be able to do a weight that you can feel, and you start feeling a little burn at 8, 10. But I never really went to total failure on set, so I wasn't a guy that just pushed until the partner needed to drag the bars off me. I just wanted to get a good like push out of it. I would get the burning, rack the wait 45, 60 seconds, we do that, okay? That always worked best for me, and that's why I stayed mostly injury-free. I did have a bicep tear at the end of my career. It was just something I did every single day. I went, and we've probably all done this. I had the dumbbells, I kicked the dumbbells up like this for shoulder presses, and I tore my upper bicep, okay? And I think it was just wear and tear. I didn't do anything that I hadn't done before. It wasn't like, you know, I was doing crazy heavy weight. It just was a free thing. It tore, and then I competed in the Olympia. I lost to Phil Heath that year, and that was pretty much the end of my higher rating of the Mr. Olympia. I came back one more time. I competed, but I was a shadow of what I was. And that's, you know, that was what I was towards the end. Like I said, I was in my upper 30s. I always said I was going to retire at 30, but the problem is I started doing most of my successful things after 30 years old, and thankfully I stayed because I only lived to get 33. But I just thought the training, you have to really train smart for the long term. Okay, I can tell you, I'm 45 today. Okay, and I feel like I'm 25 in the gym. There's not one exercise I can't do. I have no pains. I have no aches. And a lot of people want to get me on different products these days and say, hey, you know, this helps with this pain. I'm like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm saying, well, I don't have any pain, so what do I do? You know, I can't really endorse your stuff, you know? And that's a blessing. And I did a lot of tissue work, a lot of massage therapy. You guys look back at the old videos. I think that attributed to a lot, keeping everything pliable, stretching. But you've got to be smart, you've got to be calculated. It's not just a dummy just can't go to the gym and work out, right? I think a lot of people think that just bodybuilders go in and they just push a bunch of weights and they respond, and that's how they become what they become. But you still have to have a game plan on what you do and exercise. If it hurts, don't do it. So a lot of people are in the gym like, man, when I do this, it hurts. What do I do? I should stay away from it. There's a lot of ways around it now. So I mentioned the equipment's advanced. You don't have to do the hardcore meathead exercises that were always there. I still think that's the core. So the younger people in this room, I still think your core movements are always necessary, but now you can advance off of those. You don't have to be so hard-headed. You know, you don't have to get under 500 pounds anymore or whatever. I mean, I used to squat till my nose bled. That's how I started, and I thought that was the right way. Because like I said, the magazines didn't talk to me. I couldn't watch any videos. They didn't exist really when I started. So you guys are at a huge advantage now to be able to watch our stuff. I mean, YouTube, everything. Who watches things online here? Everybody? Yeah. Pretty much. Who picks up magazines still? Very few. You're a hardcore guy.
Just old enough.